Good evening. This is a Michael Muse show, and we are here to talk to you about this fantastic author. Because if you don't know who I am the fear coach. I'm here to let you know that we are kicking in fear, kicking it down in every direction we come in. And definitely, we have a special guest today because when it comes to achieving things, when it comes to accomplishing things, we all need inspiration. We all need that tug. We all need them words of encouragement and quotes. I'm telling you, everyone, you are in for a treat tonight. So I'm letting you know. I have with me tonight a new author. And this author, when I say new, she wrote her book in less than 30 days. But you know what? It was already inside of her. So I want to definitely let you know who I am. My name is Michael Muse. I'm the author of Rise and Burn. I am the fear coach, and we are kicking down all the doors of fears. And we are here with the fantastic, the phenomenal, the amazing Denise Cochran, the author of Pen to Heart and Paper to Pen. Denise, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
Fantastic and amazing. And I definitely want to thank all the viewers who will come out tonight because you could be doing anything on a Tuesday night at 9 p.m., but you are here to hear some great stories, testimony, and definitely hearing some words of wisdom. So I appreciate each and every one of you for taking time out your busy schedule. So Denise, good evening to you. This is definitely just your words of encouragement. Just in a short time that I've got to know you, and just to read some of your excerpts from your book, and just to talk to you collectively, just on how you got started, where you started. And you know what? And it's always a great thing. We both from Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. So yes, yes. So definitely, I appreciate you. But definitely, can you share with our audience? Can I give us an idea how you came up with your title for your book?
Actually, pen to heart, heart to paper is how I write. I started about maybe 2 months ago. I woke up just inspired to write, and I would always take my pen, hold it in the air, and say, Lord, I write pen to heart, heart to paper. And I write my inspiration. And that's how I would get started every day before I write. And so I felt it just important to take that and make that the title of my book.
Oh, that is absolutely awesome. So, if you kind of give everyone, before you start, just want everyone to know this show is being sponsored by 426 Media, where your business is our priority. So, 426media.com, where your business is our priority. That's who our show is being sponsored by. I want to thank you for sponsoring us. And definitely, Denise, definitely, when it comes to writing and definitely inspiration, you said it. So, can I give us a story on where your life was headed to before you actually began to write your book? What's the story behind that?
Well, the story behind it, as you said, I'm from Detroit and was born, raised on the east side. Um, I'm the youngest of six children, and I have I've had a number of corporate jobs, and was just starting to feel unfulfilled. Like I was stagnant. Like there were things I wanted to do. I was what we would call the jack of all trades, master of none. I would have my hands in all kinds of things, from preparing taxes. I had a transportation service. I've worked as a financial analyst for a major construction company in Detroit. I've done procurement for Toyota and procurement for General Motors, but I just wasn't feeling fulfilled. Like I was really living in my so once my children became adults, I have been yearning to leave and to just go and explore. I'm a dreamer.
Yes.
And I looked, and my youngest daughter was now an adult. I have a grandson. And I said, you know, it's time. It's time for me to go. And I packed up with vision in mind, and I left Detroit and headed to Georgia. And once I got here, this journey here has been a purging for me. It's been a renewal. It's been where I've been able to find myself, to come in tune with myself, to forgive myself. And in doing that, I started to write. So one morning I woke up and I wrote what was in my heart. That was mid-December. And then every morning I started writing what was in my heart. And
Yes.
then I started to share it. Said, hey, let me see if it's inspiring me like this. Let me see if I can inspire somebody else. So I would send it to my daughters and a few friends, my family. And pretty soon it got to a point where I missed a day. And when I missed that day, I got messages from everywhere. Hey, what's going on? Are you okay? I'm missing my message. I need my inspiration this morning. And so I was impressed. I was grateful that what I was writing to inspire myself really was inspiring someone else. And so another month or so went on, and I was inspired to start writing a book about my life. But I didn't want to rush that. I wanted to take my time so I can get it right and make sure that this bestseller is going to do just that, be a bestseller.
That's right.
So in that process, though, my sister-in-law encouraged me to take my inspirations and put it in a book. She said, Nikki, you have to publish this. And so I'm going, you think? And she said, yes, I know. And I will tell you that was February 22nd. March 22nd, I became a published author.
That is absolutely amazing. But kind of when it comes to purpose and it comes to the vision, when you make that transition shift to move from Detroit to Atlanta, what mindset did it take for you? Number one, that you needed to leave and wanted to leave, and what mindset did you? What steps of a mindset did you take to get to that decision? And once you made that decision, what are the things that you've done once you made that transition to get you where you're at now?
Well, the first thing was I had to recognize that there was purpose in my life. In realizing that God has a purpose for all of us. Knowing what our purpose is what drives us to live in our purpose. And at that point in Detroit, I had just discovered that it was time. It was time for something different. I looked at things as if in all my life, I've done things the same way. And we all know the saying that you can't keep doing things the same way and expecting a different result. So absolutely. I knew that in order for me to get something different out of life, I had to do something different in my life. And I just felt like where I was in Detroit at that moment, had I continued, I would still be on that hamster wheel, so to speak, just going in circles and getting nowhere. And so I made the decision to step out and do something different. So I came to Georgia because I've always wanted to come to Georgia. I feel like Georgia has a world of people who think like I do, who think outside the box. And I see and know that a lot of people here have actually made their dreams come true. And so I felt what better way than to surround myself with people who think like me. with people who
Yes.
strive and want to do better. What better way to get myself in that environment than to move into an environment where it's thriving? And so,
And you know what, Denise? Let me ask you this quick question. A lot of people wanting to live in a purpose, and they maybe have a vision, and I know a lot of people they are stuck right at the point of really at the very beginning of really putting that pen to paper. So what I want you to kind of share, you shared a great point on how you knew you need to make a change, and you've made a change, and you made that physical move. But we all know before you make that physical move, it was a mindset move. And for that mindset move, let's take it back from the time you moved to Atlanta to now. What was the mindset that you had that really propelled you to get to the point that you were sick and tired? And once you were sick and tired, you had the courage and you decided to step out on purpose, on your purpose that's already been predestined for you, and begin to put that pen to paper. Because you know what? We all have a story, and the story we have is based on the experience and the things we've been through. And I know it's a lot of viewers out there and people who don't believe they don't have a story to share, but they do. And then there's those who know they have a story. They know they've been through some things and they want to share it, but they're scared. So if you kind of walk through what helped you get through any fear factor that you had mentally to get to the point where you put that pen to paper, if you could share that, that'd be great.
okay, well, again, it goes back to just being tired and knowing that you're tired. And for me, it just took being fed up enough. That was my drive. I can't say it any other way. Being as tired as I was, not getting anywhere, that was the end for me. But I knew that that end had to be the start of something else. And that's what drove me to make that move to come to Georgia, to try something different. And anything in life, anything in life that's worth having is worth working for. And so I knew that as hard as I worked for corporate America, I know that if I gave 110% to corporate America, I could give 150% for myself. So why not step out and build a business for myself? So my initial thought was to come here and start my own business. And so in doing that, that was my focal point. I knew that I had to have a reason why, and my children and my grandson, they are my why. They are why I decided that it was time to build a legacy for my family.
You hit the head on a nail right there, and that is one thing that's so crucial, Denise, that you as an author and even being in business, knowing that you have to have that why, and the fact that, like you said, you when you were in Detroit, you said you were hitting some roadblocks and you saw that you need to make some serious changes. And I know sometimes we all, when it comes mentally, we definitely need to make those changes mentally. But
Yeah.
you saw that you need to make a bigger change and you need to make a location change. And I truly believe sometimes we do have to change our environment. I truly believe the first environment we change, we have to change the people we associate with first and really
Okay.
get around like-minded people. So let me ask you this,
That's
because I know a lot of people are curious, and I know definitely number one, when you moved to Atlanta, what were some of the things that you do to build those relationships that were like-minded that you were looking for? How did you go about doing that? And and for that year that you've been there so far, how has it been fruitful for you?
well, first, I recognized that I couldn't be afraid. I couldn't be afraid to talk to people. Um, Nobody will know what it is you want or what it is you're trying to do if you're afraid to talk about it. So In my places of employment, I was always, listening to new ideas and hearing what people had to say, but then I was always willing to share what it is I want to do. And in doing that, I opened up a few relationships with people who have their own businesses outside of work, who said, well, hey, you know what, with what you're trying to do, let me connect you to somebody else and they may be able to help you. And pretty soon I was able to put myself in an environment. I'll tell you, I have rubbed elbows with more millionaires since I've been here than I ever have in my entire life. And I'm not talking just going and standing in a room. I'm talking, I can call these people on the phone and have conversation like I'm having with you right now. And they're willing to share with me what I need to do to get to the next move. And my advice is to always put yourself in that type of environment. So my what I would say is don't be afraid. If you take that step, if you let go of that fear and take that step to make a change in your life, you can't look back. I went through a
That
period of forgiving myself. That's part of the plan too. You have to learn to forgive and to let go of your past. You can't move forward. You can't progress holding on to the things that are binding you on the inside, in your heart. You can't move forward in that. I write in the book, there's a phrase in there that I say that negativity is a learned behavior, but so is
yes,
positivity. And so I felt like I had spent my entire life in a negative environment and being taken in by that negativity. So why not having the choice? Why not live the rest of my life in positivity? And so those are the type of things that I use to fuel me as I'm going through. And I won't say that this move has been easy because there are challenges, but it's just like you said,
yes,
it's about changing your mindset. And once I changed my mind and made up my mind that I was going to do, I am going to be, I am victorious in everything that I
yes.
do. When I started speaking positive things into my life, positive outcomes have been happening for me. And that's why I can say to have published this, those are the type of things that are reflective of changing your mind.
And you know what, Denise? And you know what's really important also? Now, I want to bring this point up that you made is about forgiveness,
Mhm.
because forgiveness is so important.
Yes.
A story I just heard of yesterday was it was a man who was being he had been he achieved a whole lot of awards, community awards, and he got awards everywhere he went. And so finally, his he passed away,
Mhm.
and right when he passed away, everyone went on bragging about all his awards and how great he was. And she couldn't take it and she stood up and said, y'all don't know the man. You don't know him. He's nothing to what y'all say he is.
Wow.
And when they said that, people were looking, because this is like a 60 something year old woman. So people look at, wow, she said he's not this way. And what it was, all the hurt and all the pain that she suffered by him, she had never forgiven him. And so here it is, he's passed on, and all that pain, it comes up at the repast where
Mhm.
everybody's saying all good things about him.
Right.
And I know for us, when it comes to wanting to achieve, when it comes to us wanting to get to the next level, we a lot of times we are very hard on ourselves when we look at the things we experience, we look at the things that we've gone through, and what happens, a lot of times we haven't forgiven ourselves. And so
That's right.
I know there's some people out here who are watching, and You have been through some traumatic times in your childhood. You have been through some traumatic times in your adulthood. And some of you may be going through some traumatic times right now. And I want to ask you this, Denise, kind of walk us through the steps of forgiveness that you, in the process that you personally went through, so we can kind of, and if you can, share part of the experience, so we kind of get a feel and understand on how you came to the point of forgiving yourself and how did you do it and where to now.
Okay, well, first, in learning to forgive, you first have to admit that there are things that you need to forgive. Because we can
Yes.
spend a lifetime pointing the finger. This person did this against me. This person made me feel this way. But until you can reach down, I mean, truly, I stand in the mirror. One of the processes that I do, because I'm still in my purging stage, one of the processes that I do, I stand in the mirror. I stand in the mirror and I say to myself, I forgive you.
Mm,
I forgive you.
that's powerful.
There's no way that we can ask or expect other people to forgive us when we don't even work or know how to forgive ourselves. And also before we can start to forgive someone else. And I use the fact that God forgives us for every transgression. And how can we claim to love him or to be like him if we don't forgive? And so I use those type of things when I'm talking. And again, it's a purging. Purging is a systematic way of getting down to the root cause of things. When there's a problem, when you can't find out what the problem is, you can keep masking over it and trying to solve it. But until you get to what the root cause of the problem is, you're not going
Yes.
to solve it. And so for solution. So I take my time and those things that I want to make progress in, I ask myself, am I able to make progress? Am I holding on to anything? Am I being bitter about anything?
Yeah.
Because we have to understand that when we harbor and hold those negative and ill feelings, we block our own blessings. And so in
Exactly.
order to move forward and to get ahead, you have to find your own system within yourself. What works for me may not work for you, but I know that the bottom line is you have to forgive and you have to let go. One of my writings in there says that growth is about not only saying that you forgive, but not reminding the person that you don't forget. You have to let go. And that's a
Yes.
key. That is a key process in growth in any relationship, be it family, friends, yourself, it doesn't matter.
So what were some of the things that you had to let go that you realized that you had to number one, let go and really come to a place of forgiveness for yourself?
Well, I had to stop blaming myself. Every
Mm,
situation that went wrong, everything that I couldn't do for my kids, even just every little situation. There was always me. I'm always finding myself blaming myself. I'm so hard on myself. I could have did better. I should have did this. Oh my goodness, this would have been so different had I done this. I had to learn to let go of that because even in my girl's childhood, I still feel bad about some of the things that I did or didn't do. But I can't keep
right.
holding on. That's no way for me to be able to teach my daughter, who is now a mother, by holding on to blame. Um, Certain past relationships, I would blame myself for a lot of the way that my relationships went. But I had to understand first and foremost that it takes two to tango. But I couldn't
That's right.
just take the burden of all of things that didn't go right on myself.
Exactly. Yes. And
And
you know what? And
mhm,
you know what? When you said, I'm glad you said that because one of your quotes that really touched me is control the action of negative living by allowing the function of positive thinking. And I'm going to say that quote again because it's powerful. Control the action of negative living by allowing the function of positive thinking. And that is the original by Denise Cochran. That's powerful. And so when I read a quote like that, and when you speak on taking on responsibility in a relationship, and like you said, you was taking on the brunt of the responsibility, and you of course feel guilty and everything, and you made some decisions. Um, definitely. So where do you? My question is, come to that quote. Where did you get that quote from? That is awesome. Where did you get that quote from? Is it
Honestly,
original?
that quote is not in the book. I honestly woke up this morning and I wrote that quote this morning and shared it on Facebook. I write every day. I write what's in my heart every day and I share it. So I wrote Pen to Heart, Heart to Paper. I have another book that'll be coming out with more inspirations because I write. I live inspired. And so
Yes.
when I open my eyes every morning, I write what's in my heart.
And you know what? That's powerful because that's the title of our show. It is Fire from the Pen, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, we are getting deep. And our guest, the author Denise Cochran, she is really breaking down some bare essentials on how we make decisions, on how we need to forgive ourselves, on how we need to be in a certain place so we can make those decisions and do the things and live the life on purpose. And so, Denise, my question for you is this. When it comes to living on purpose and living with purpose, kind of share with us, how did you come up, how did you gravitate to that concept, and what were some of the steps that you took even at an early age to now? Because I think a lot of times when people see us, when people see people in general, when we see people who are successful, we always see the glory. People love to gravitate to the glory, but no one wants to ride along for the story, you know. And so when people hear the story, when people get the full totality of the story, people really think, "Wow, I didn't know it was really like that." Or I really didn't know. I mean, for me, I suffered a heart attack, seizure, and a heart attack all at the same time, and so I truly know about God's mercy and His grace, and just knowing that, hey, it's a plan and purpose for me, and it's purpose for me. And of course, it don't have to be that extreme for everybody, but we all go through certain things. And when it comes to living on purpose for you, what point of reference and things that you go through to get you to that point mentally, and what were some of the steps you took to move forward?
Well, I'll say I won't go into detail, but I did have my own brush with that. And back in 2010, my my I'll just say my blood count was extremely low, and I ended up having to have 9 units of blood. At that very moment, being given a second chance at life, I knew the purpose for my life. I didn't live in it then. Still didn't understand it. I tried, but I gave up a couple times. I tried and I gave up a couple times. I just couldn't seem to find what my purpose is. Even as a young child, I would ask my brothers, what is my talent? My brothers are so talented, basketball, football, you name it, they could do it.
Right.
But I always asked, what was my talent? And being given that second chance, I knew that I had to find out what my purpose was. And so I love helping people. I love being in a situation where I can empower someone else. I can help add value to someone else's life. And so my decision to move here to Georgia to start my business was to be able to help other people. And so at the Michigan-Ohio border, I drove here, the Michigan-Ohio border. I parked my car. I looked behind me. I said goodbye to things of old. I turned around and I looked in front of me and I said, now I'll live with purpose. That's
Woo!
where live with purpose originated from. And today I have a business established here, and the name of my business is Live with Purpose LLC.
Woo! That is powerful right there. So what you said, you took the bold. Once you took that bold step, and we're gonna just make this a location stamp reference right here. Like you said, you was at the Michigan-Ohio border, and when you turned around, you turned around, you looked, and you just said goodbye to all the hurt, all the pain, all the fear, all the disappointment, all the frustrations, any and everything that dealt with holding you back. You said goodbye to it. And you turn, you vowed not to go back to it. And you know what? And see that, what makes that so great, because that reminds me of the story a lot. And you know, he never told to get out the city, and it was told don't look back. What did his wife do? She turned back. What happened? She turned back. She became a pillar of salt.
That's right.
And see, now if she had stayed on purpose and followed her husband and her husband's direction, she'd have been all right. And it's like you say, so that point of reference right there is important. And you have another quote here that grabbed my attention too. It says, when you have fear that you do not acknowledge, you have truth that you hide from yourself. And I'm going to read that one again. When you have fear that you do not acknowledge, you have truth that you hide from yourself. That's powerful right there, Denise. You want to break it down for us. That's powerful. That's a hitter right there. That's a heavy hitter. Break it down for us now. Dissect it.
Well, I mean, when you don't admit or acknowledge, when you don't say, yes, I fear this, I fear that, or I'm holding on to this, or whatever it is, whatever your fear is, if you don't recognize what that fear is, you're lying to yourself. When you say that you're going to try and move forward, if you don't acknowledge what that fear is, there's no way you can truthfully move forward and conquer that fear.
So let me ask you this question. When it came to you making that transition, what were some of the fears you were dealing with to make the transition to move from Detroit to Atlanta? Because I think me in talking conversation, it wasn't like you were moving to Atlanta and you had family all around you could go to be a support system. Am I correct?
Correct.
So I mean, so you were truly stepping out on faith here. And that's truly a testament right there that you stepped out on faith. But what were some of the fears you were dealing with to make a decision to do it? And what were those fears? And how did you actually deal with those at the time they came up?
Well, some of my fears, I didn't fear coming here. My biggest fears were back in Detroit. I feared leaving my family. I feared leaving my mother. I feared, honestly, at that point in my life, I feared what people would think if I made it. You know, kind of to a point where I was dumbing down because I didn't want to be too much of a success because of what people may think about me or say about me or, you know, how they would feel. I feared losing friendships. I feared losing family relationships. Those were the fears that held me in Detroit as long as I stayed in Detroit.
Right.
Because I didn't want to leave what was considered the comfort zone. I just didn't want to leave it. I yearned to be away from it so that I can grow, but I was too afraid to take those steps, the necessary steps to make it happen. And so through prayer and knowing that my faith is more important than anything,
yes,
I finally acknowledged the fear being truthful with myself, acknowledged my fear, and stepped out on faith and moved ahead. And you're right, I didn't. My oldest daughter was here, but we didn't have family here. But I knew that in Atlanta, Georgia, part of my dream was in Atlanta, and I had to come and do
Mm. That is absolutely powerful right there. And so, just to kind of, so one thing that you mentioned earlier, you mentioned your circle of influence, because one of the things I talk about in my book, Rise and Burn, and this is one thing I
it.
teach people all the time. If you're looking to be successful, if you're looking to live a life that you dreamed of, you have to change your circle of influence. And that means you have to realign your friendships and people who you hang around. And for you, one thing you said that caught my attention real quick. You said just in the short time that you've been in Atlanta, you have spoken to numerous millionaires, documented millionaires, who you're able to not only just say hi to, but you're able to have a conversation with, and they're able to share some insight and advice to you that you say you never got while you were in Detroit. And so my question is this: and what did you do to get? Where did you find these millionaires at down there? And what did you do to get into that circle, to meet them, to be around them, to rub elbows, and to get those good words of encouragement and inspiration from? So, kind of walk us through that process, how you come from Detroit, and like you say, come from Detroit. Only family you had down there was your daughter. To less than just a year later, you're already meeting people who are millionaires, who are successful, documented, and you are in those circles. So what did you? So kind of share with our audience and viewers the process of moving into a new location and getting around those successful people who you want to be like. So kind of walk us through that process.
Well, when I first got here, I shared with you earlier. In my past, I've been a part of numerous MLMs, multi-level marketing businesses. And when I first got here, I was introduced to one, and it caught my eye because it was a little different than the norm. It wasn't a potion or a pill. It was actually a service that could be used. And so I became a part of it. And in becoming a part of it, they had major events. The young man that I was working with is the top money earner here in Georgia. And
Okay.
so I was invited to one of their big events. It was on my birthday. I was invited to one of these big events here. And I went there, and never had I been around so many wealthy African American people in my life.
Wow.
And I'm not talking about old 80, 90-year-old people, people younger than me. And it was amazing. And this business was not their only business. These people
Right.
own major corporations here in Georgia. So the one thing that I did learn in meeting with these people, that when you meet with them and they see that you are like-minded, they gravitate to you too. They want to pull you in. They want to get you
Yes.
where they are. When they see that you have a thirst for it, they help you. And so from that small circle is where some of my other circles were opened up, from being able to network, and again, not being afraid to communicate and talk. And um, it's just amazing to have seen so many people so young just getting money here in Atlanta. And
So,
it's more common than not here.
mm, so you saying one of the biggest things you learned early on and making that transition and getting into the circle of people who you want to be like and being around like-minded people. So the biggest thing you can say is you open up your mouth. And the
That's
fact
right.
that you open up your mouth and you share what direction you want to go with your life and how you could be a team player, what you were doing. you said pretty much like the Bible say, your gifts are making a way for you now.
That's right. That's right.
That is powerful. And so everyone, I just want y'all to know that it's so important and crucial that you take your gifts, that you share your gifts. Because as you can just see right now with author Denise Cochran, that making that one change of location, and she opened her mouth. Now she's in an environment where people who are doing very well, who are successful, and guess what? That same opportunity is for everyone. And definitely, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and who's on board listening, because you could be doing anything on a Tuesday night, but you are here on the Michael Muse Show. So I thank you so much. And definitely, we are being sponsored tonight by 426 Media, where your business is our business. And I thank everyone so much for that. And so definitely, so kind of share where you're going with that also when it comes to the purpose, and kind of share. So you're talking to these millionaires now. You've been here less than a year, right about a year. And so you're meeting millionaires, you're rolling in their circles. And so my question is, what have you learned since being, like you said, you've never been around so many millionaires at one time and able to congregate with them. So what have you learned in this short period of time that you didn't know before? And what direction are you moving in? What are some of the things that you take away and share with us right now?
Well, I've learned from being in the circle with these people of wealth that they teach you to have a positive attitude. They teach you that you have to be a believer in yourself. You can't just have a dream. If you don't believe in your dream, how can you expect someone else to?
Exactly.
I've learned that it takes hard work. Nothing is going to be handed to you. But the most important thing I would say that I take from the people that I surround myself by is that they have the greatest work ethic to me. Because just like I was speaking about working so hard for someone else, it's amazing. It's amazing to see these people working so hard for themselves, and they get to reap the benefit themselves. I tell some of the people that I inspire, I tell them, you can have your own business. You may laugh and call me a dreamer, but you're working in a company that was started by someone's dream. So it may be funny to you now, but I tell you, Live with Purpose LLC is going to be a business just as big as any other business out here, because it's my dream, it's my vision, and I'm going to make it come to life.
So when it comes to your business, Purpose with LLC, give us an idea what you do with your Purpose with LLC, and how do you help how can you help the average person? Let's just say, this is usually, for example, I come to you, I don't have much purpose, but I do want to make some changes in my life. So what would be the process which you would do to help someone like me if I came to you? Number one, find out what their purpose is and how to cultivate it.
Well, what it is, Live with Purpose. The business of Live with Purpose is to empower our young people. My workshops will be to help young people learn how to effectively complete a job application, how to thoroughly complete a FAFSA application. My workshops will empower them to have mock interviews, because we put the responsibility of our young people to go and find a job, but then we don't give them the tools they need in order to get that done. So what my workshop will do, will teach them the process. I will teach them how to build an effective resume. And my goal is to, by the end of the session, make sure that they have an interview suit, they have copies of their resume, and Wells Fargo here in Atlanta has agreed to come and speak at my workshops to teach them about financial responsibility. So my goal through my workshops is to empower people and give them knowledge that they may not have just readily had at their fingertips.
Right. That is powerful right there. So what you're saying is, if a person wants to live on purpose, one of the things you're focused on right now, like you say, you could definitely help a person get in a position where they can start to get their financial house in order, and definitely understand and get the basic of financial literacy, because that is so important. Because if the old saying is, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it's all about how much you can keep. And if you don't learn and get into a system of learning to make money and invest money and learn how to be a creator and not a consumer and be a producer, and so definitely that is powerful, because what you have done, a lot of people have been scared to do. And like you said, a lot is because of the fear of their past, fear of the circumstances they've been in. And so if you can share some parts of your book that can help a person get to the next level.
I have one that says, to overcome your trials, you have to change the way in which you view them. Don't see them as defeat, hurtful, or as a burden, but see them as already conquered and as a stepping stone to your next level.
That's powerful right there. So break that down for us. That's powerful.
Well, it's self-explanatory. In order to overcome, we can't allow ourselves to be defeated. When you change your mindset and the way that you view things,
yes,
is how it makes things easier for us to conquer. I like this one. Find the therapy in sharing your experience. It heals you from your past and gives hope to the person living in it right
now. So what you're saying is, pretty much what a person needs to do, one of the biggest steps to living on purpose, is to take a look at their past and not live off their past.
Mm-hmm.
And so
heal yourself from your past.
And so help me walk this through for me and my audience. So when you say heal the past, what are some of the steps a person can do to heal themselves from their past so they can see the truth in their purpose so they can live it out?
Well, that still goes back to, like you said, first you have to recognize, you have to acknowledge the things from your past, acknowledge the hurt, acknowledge the things that are there. Then you have to work through the process of forgiving, whether it's you or someone else. And then you have to let it go.
Yes.
You can't keep holding on to it. You can't move forward if you're holding on to the things that are binding you in your past. So you have to be able to let go in order to move ahead.
Absolutely. That is absolutely powerful right there. And you are truly, Denise, you are a truly exemplary factor of just showing fire from the pen. I mean, you truly have got some excellent quotes to keep a person's mindset and proper perspective, and you feed the soul with those things that's really digging deep and just getting to the purpose and get to the matter. Because like you say, you're not someone who just wrote what you were thinking. You actually wrote about what you've gone through and the quotes that touch your heart and the things that allowed you to take those steps to get to that border of Ohio and Michigan and look back at Michigan and know that, hey, you know what? I'm not coming back. And so that is absolutely powerful. So the name of your book, her book, everyone, is Pen to Heart and Heart to Paper. If you can, Denise, hold that powerful book up, because that is truly a best-selling book right there. If you can, bring it in a little closer and bring it down just a little bit. As everyone, ladies and gentlemen, that is a great looking book right there. from pen to heart and heart to paper from author Denise Cochran. Yeah, thank you for showing us that, Denise. That is definitely powerful, and definitely for the fact that you're putting something together which will live with purpose, where you can truly have an impact on all people's lives who are around you. And if you can share, if you want to kind of share your early beginnings as a child, what things in your childhood did you see that you knew you had purpose?
Actually, I told you that I used to wonder what my talent was, but I used to write as a young child. I used to write poems and short stories when I was a little girl. And it was just my imagination was so active and so vivid. So I used to write a lot then. And just growing into that, I accounting was my background growing through the years because of my love for numbers.
Okay.
So I had a genuine love for numbers, and I worked in accounting for 15 years because of that love for numbers.
Okay.
But um, it was the writing I came to realize as an adult. I came to realize here in Georgia that my writing is my true purpose.
Mm. And so one thing you said that grabbed my attention, and you said when it came to the writing, and I want all my guests and all the viewers to realize this, is that she just started writing something every day. And the fact that she started writing something every day, it became a book. So I just want to encourage everyone out there who is thinking about writing a book and you have things in you that you want to share, just start writing down notes and whatever's on your mind, whatever's on your heart. Just put it to pen to the paper, if it's nothing but 2 to 3 minutes at minimum every day. And I guarantee you, you put that on paper. And let me ask you this, Denise, when you put that stuff on paper, were you able to really evaluate who you are and really assess where you at? Because I know for a lot of people, not even with myself, and I'm a victim of this, Denise, where a lot of times I don't properly assess myself. And I know a lot of people, we don't properly assess ourselves. And we don't properly assess ourselves. So kind of walk me through how you assess yourself through your writing.
Well, like I said, when I wake up every morning, even today, when I wake up and I write what's in my heart. And some of the writings, some people, would tell me, "Oh my God, when you wrote that, that was just for me." But what I say to them is, when I wrote that from some part of my purging I either just came from, or part of my purging, or my renewing of myself that I'm going into. So I literally write what's in my heart, talking to me more than anything. And that's what I use. These writings I still go through and I read them because they are nourishment for my soul, for me.
Denise, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, internet had went to audio. You have some definitely um, that's powerful right there. That you started your morning writing down some thoughts and writing some things that were on your heart, and really having it on paper and seeing where you're at. So knowing that all you need to do is make some changes at the very beginning of the day, which to me, if you look at any successful person, the beginning of the day is the most important part, because how we start our day pretty much would dictate how the rest of our day would go. And start our day off right, start off early, and we start off prayers and meditation and affirmations, and we have our routine, our ritual place. We put us in a place where we can attract those people and things that God wants for us. So
Right.
my question for you is, how has your life changed? You seen how the law of attraction worked in your so far last year?
Oh my goodness, my life has changed tremendously. When when I say changing from that speaking negatively, because our words do hold power, changing just from speaking the negative words. I have
Yes.
watched things come into fruition. This book is a perfect example. But when I say changing my mind and, like I said, putting myself around positive people, I have just started to draw a lot of positivity, a lot of good things into my life, where I can say a year ago I was surrounded by a lot of negative things and found a lot of bad things always happening to me. But I truly believe that, in the law of attraction, your words, your thoughts hold power. They really do.
That is powerful. And you know what, Denise? We get to the close of our show. So what I would like you to do,
Okay.
kind of share some points on how um, on some advice you can give to our viewers, and also share how they can contact and reach you.
Okay. I give all of the viewers this advice. Find your purpose, understand your purpose, believe in your purpose, and live in your purpose.
Boom!
And your life will change. You all can contact me at DeniseCochran.com. That's DeniseCochran.com. You will be able to purchase the book. The website is under a little construction. We're just trying to get everything ready so that you guys can order directly from the website. But you're more than welcome to go to DeniseCochran.com. Leave me a message, your email address, phone number. We have everything set up for you to leave me all your information. And I thank you guys so much for your support.
Well, everyone, that is powerful right there. Anytime knowing that you can know what your purpose, walk in your purpose, and live your purpose, it doesn't get no bigger than that. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you because you are here tonight with the Fear Coach, where we're kicking fear at the door like boom, we coming in, baby, we coming in. No fear is gonna stop us do what we have to do. And you are listening to the Altar Arise and Burn. For overcoming your fears is not an option, everyone. It is not an option. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight. Denise, you have been great. Everyone, pick up her book. When it comes to getting her book, don't meet me getting her book. Beat me there getting her book. And so, definitely, I thank everyone. You can reach me at michaelmusenow.com. You can reach me at michaelmusenow.com. You can purchase my book, Rise and Burn. And also, if you want to contact me, you can contact me at michaelmusenow@gmail.com. That is michaelmusenow@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone. It's been great. Denise, thank you so much. It's been so great and a pleasure. And I'm definitely looking forward to having you on again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.